Adnen. Welcome back, you're listening to Tunis International Radio, and we are talking about the situation of university teaching assistants in Tunisia. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you think teaching assistants have enough money to forget about financial problems and to focus on teaching and research? Who wants to start? Ines, okay, go ahead. The scapegoat.
Scapegoat. Okay, never think I believe in the system. Okay. So, well, the problem then isn't just a problem of 1 year and that's it. After that, you're settled. No, there is no stability for the teacher. I.e., when you start teaching the first year, they tell you are going to be paid after 6 months, and in reality, sometimes you get paid even after 9 or 12 months. And during the whole year, you are not sure whether you are going to be paid as a contract teacher or just as a teacher who would teach for just an hour, like for the hours. And that is a big difference. There is a difference of thousands of dinars a year. So you cannot think ahead. I cannot imagine what goes in the mind of the people at the top of the system. How do they think we can finance ourselves? This is not just about us.
What about you, Hela?
Well, I'll tell you something that sad that I was told by one of my colleagues who's also in the same situation as me, the 5th contract year. This week, he's in the computer science and he said, you know what, I have a paper that I had submitted and I'm wishing that that paper doesn't get accepted. I said, why? Because he said, I can't finance 3,000 dinars because you have to pay for that and then your lab maybe will refund some of it. But he said, I don't have 3,000 dinars now to sponsor that paper, which is very sad. You get research that's accepted in some conference or a journal or whatever it is, and then you're just sitting there because you don't have the money. Okay, you can borrow the money, but then you probably have borrowed before to live, you
Thousands.
know? Exactly. So it's a very sad situation. I mean, we do have financial problems, but I think more problems are more important for some people than this financial
and it's worth noting that we are not talking about the 4 teaching assistants here in the studio. We are talking about the situation of more than 6,000 in Tunisia. What about you, Zied?
Well, as a researcher and as a teacher,
you're a billionaire.
I'm a billionaire. I'm
his card.
loaded, man. So as a researcher, I learned a lot of things. I learned how to get around the system, how to be a hacker on the internet, how to hack some journals, how to hack some articles. So I'm not going to be spending 3,000 money to go for a conference. Instead, I will just hack the journal. I'll just get a password. I will just manage my... So this is the reality of the research.
For now, listen, he's kidding.
I'm not kidding. I'm a hacker. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a hacker. So I'm not kidding. Seriously, we have a big problem of research, and it's... the problem is not... We're not considered. We're not even considered as a problem. So the as part of the World Confederation Union, we're not a problem. We are the solution actually. We are offering the solution.
What is the solution?
The solution is to reform the system.
Do you think it's easy to reform a system, an old system?
It's not an easy. It's not going to be an easy task. We all agree on that. But I mean, we have a bunch of young people, researchers, elite of this country, willing to do something for the better of themselves and of the better of the educational system, and we're open for discussion. And we have a lot of propositions to the government. We have a lot of propositions.
We will come back to the solution.
Yes, I want to go back to the source of the problem. The source of the problem, okay? Because the problem is not money itself. Okay? The problem is why reaching that situation first. Okay, the problem, as I think, is the research units in Tunisia. Okay. For example, I would compare between scientific researchers, students, and art.
And you have one here?
Yes, and art and literature researchers. As I think, for scientific researchers, the task is much easier. Okay. Because,
why is it easier?
Yes. Okay. Because in sciences, I think it's possible to obtain a wider range of thoughts, theses, and ideas.
And books and
books. Just from a little source. Okay, it's much easier in mathematics, in physics, and so on. okay? Because maths is much wider, okay? But for example, in literature,
it's more complicated.
It's very complicated, okay? Because it's very hard to pick up a very unique and original idea. It's not easy at all, okay? So at least we take care about this. We consider this problem, okay? So we suffer from the lack of research units.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to know something, Adnen.
Yes, go ahead.
Scientific researchers, when they graduate, and they obtain their master's degree, they find themselves automatically included in a system of supervision. They are automatically, or they automatically belong to the
research unit,
to the family or to the world of research. Okay. You find yourself contacting and looking for a supervisor and so on, okay? But we, for example, I speak about literature students.
It's mission impossible.
Yes, it's impossible. We belong to nowhere. We belong to nowhere, okay? We are neither protected. We are neither cared about. Okay, we belong to nowhere. We just rely on ourselves. Sometimes you feel that you are noticed even by the ministry. Okay, but for the social number, CRPS, but for this number, sometimes I feel I belong to nowhere in this country. Okay, and sometimes even I fear that I'm not paid, and if it is so, who gonna protect me? Okay, that's the problem.
So I think no one is going to protect you?
The research units is very fundamental here.
Rafeek, there's something very interesting, which is the fact that we have just started talking about the financial and the social situation of university teaching assistants in Tunisia, and you are talking about research. Do you think they are interconnected?
Exactly.
Okay.
They are interconnected. The problem of the status is research assistant or teacher assistant. So you are both a researcher and a teacher. And you can't do either of them without having a stable situation. You can't be a good teacher if you know that at the end of the year you're going to be laid off. And you can't be a good researcher if you know that you're not going to have a financial support to carry out your research. So the solution should consider both parts. It's like it's the two facets of the same object. We have to consider them both, and there are certain reforms that need to be done, and they are very simple. For example, we have what we call CDI. It's the undeterminate contract, so we're not going to be limited by 4 years of being contractual and then being fired. So you have at least the psychological stability to carry out your research. And this is very important when it comes to teaching and when it comes to research.
Yeah, let's listen to Hela Masmoudi, and then we will talk about the solutions and the reforms, which is a very important issue today in Tunisia. Yes, please.
Thank you. Back to what my colleague was saying about CDE. Okay, so you could be teaching for an unlimited number of years, but I believe there should be objective evaluations of TAs. Who needs to sit in and who is not a good teacher.
Hela, what do you mean by objective?
Okay, well, as we
evaluation. Okay, it's not easy to understand.
Okay, I know it's probably, but some people will say, oh no, that's not for Tunisia, but you know that in the US, in Canada, students evaluate teachers. I know it would take us time in Tunisia to get this process going.
We need to have the right students first.
Well, I mean, you learn
to be able to evaluate the teachers.
You have to explain to the students that it's for their benefits to objectively rate their professors, because that way they will have only good professors in the next year or the year after. On the other hand, we can think about another way of mentoring TAs, because okay, I have the knowledge, I know how to do the math, but I don't know how to teach math, you know, the first year, for instance. So if I work with a professor and this professor is mentoring me, and I probably start out by doing recitations or grading his papers or doing his office hours, and then in the next semester I probably will take care of some lectures, and that professor will come in and will sit in my class. Obviously he's overwhelmed, but then the ministry can rethink about all of these things to have the unnecessary training for those TAs. Okay, so I think that there is a lot to. I mean, okay, we want a stability, but then we just wanted that. We wanted that for the benefit of higher education. So you want to put some effort from the part of the permanent teacher, the professors who are there to say, this guy is going to be a good teacher. I'll give him another chance next year, the year after. Whereas this guy, okay, you know how to do it, but you're not good to teach it. And there's no problem.
You gotta do something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you do it after one semester, I mean, if you just try for one semester for 1 year, it doesn't work. It's not as bad as if you just tried for 4 years and then you're out there and then with no job.
Hela, I want to ask the same question. Ines, do you think it's possible to evaluate teachers in Tunisia?
I think it is possible, but in order for you to be able to evaluate people, you need to give them at least a ground for them to be able to stand on. I mean, by this, when you, for example, say you have 4 years within which you have to finalize your thesis and sit for the Astana in order to become a permanent teacher. And then you come to me and you say,
which is also
I gave you 5 or 4 years and you did not finish, you did not finalize your research. So the blame is all put on the teacher. However, you are not given stability, neither geographical stability, neither psychological or financial or logistics. Do you know what I am now? I am nobody. I'm not a teacher. I am not a teacher in the eyes of the government, the system.
Ines, we will talk about.
I don't have my papers yet.
I think it was said. It was reported to be said by the minister. Okay, I'm not sure that we are not teachers. That we thought we are teachers, but we are not.
Yes, go ahead, please.
In the meantime, we do course design, supervision, teaching.
We will have enough time to talk about all these problems just after the music break.
هو هذيك ميتريز يقرا في الفاك شحال في الكابيس قول هذيك ميتريز يقرا في الفاك طلعت في الكابيس يخدم
انت تنجم تسمع كل دوزن واحد طيب شنو نحط الكاسك قيصر ناخذوه. Welcome back, you're listening to Tunis International Radio, and over the phone we have with us Mr. Adel Mannai, university teacher, who will comment on what we were discussing and talking about here in this studio. Mr. Adel Mannai, welcome to RTCI. Hi.
Hello, thank you.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
So, Mr. Adel Mannai, you've been listening to the debate on RTCI. Do you think our 4 teaching assistants are right? Thank you for accepting the invitation.
Yes, thank you. And I want to remind you that many of us, many of our colleagues now, went through the same process and to move ahead with their
So, does this mean we shouldn't really think of changing the system? Mr. Adel Mannai, excuse me for the interruption, but thousands of university teaching assistants are listening to you now on RTCI. Do you have an advice?
An advice for these?
Yes, for the thousands who are listening. Mr. Adel Mannai, thank you for your valuable contribution to today's edition of the English Language Program. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. So you were listening to Mr. Adel Mannai from the University of Tunis Al Manar. I'm expecting your feedback, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. Well, I want to just first go back to what Mr. Mannai said. He said the only way to promotion is research. That's not the case for POS, that's not the case for professeur agrégé, and that's not even the case for assistant permanent who gave up their thesis, and there are lots of them around. I mean, I personally know at least, 5 or 6 people who said, I stopped working on my research. That's the first thing. Another thing is you can't be a TA and finish your thesis on time. The day that I was interviewed by my supervisor to get into this PhD program, she said, listen, if you work on this full-time, you'll finish it in 3 years. If you work on it part-time, you'll get it in 6 years. We'll have to find some kind of an average between these two things. And if you are TA, then in the months of May and June, you can do research. You're grading papers, you're proctoring exams, you're correcting, you're there all the time. You're working more than 15 hours a week.
What about you, Zied?
Yeah, we're talking about researchers who are actually fueling the research in the university. Who is doing the research in the university? Not the permanent teachers alone. The research is mainly fueled by the projects, the research projects of research assistants like us. I mean, if we kick out the researchers, where's gonna the research be? I mean, it's logical. We're talking about reasonable solution here. So if we talk about research in the higher education, we're talking about research assistant.
So where is this reasonable solution?
The reasonable solution is that we're all on the same team. The permanent teachers should not accuse the research assistant of not doing research, because they are doing the research and they are also teaching. We are all on the same team. We should help each other. The permanent teachers who are supposed to be the supervisor should help the research assistant, and they are getting funds for.
But
doing
maybe they are doing their best.
Are getting funds from the ministry to start research units and to help the students, the doctoral students who are doing research. We're not asking them where the money is going. We are asking them to do their job of carrying out supervision and mentoring the students and not letting them being kicked out of university under the pretext that they didn't finish the research in 4 years.
But the problem, Zied, is that the permanent teachers at university have another opinion. They think that researchers in Tunisia are not conducting research.
They have the right to think whatever they think. And we have the right.
It's a reality.
We have the right to defend our rights. The reality is also that the research conditions in Tunisia are not met. I was talking about hacking articles on the internet. I'm a researcher. I'm hacking articles on the internet, and we all know that this is not legal and this is not academically right. So I just gave you an example of that. And we were talking about the financial difficulties that researchers are human beings. Mr. Manai, researchers are human beings and they have the right to have dignity.
That's what he said. He did not say that you're not human beings. He's talking from experience, from personal experience. And many permanent teachers at university in Tunisia live the same conditions. They experience the same conditions. And maybe we should probably listen. I know it's not easy when you are living a poor financial situation, but that's the reality. We have to accept it or try to change it. And you were talking about reforms, and I will come back to the reforms.
I think considering the fact that some teachers are not conducting their thesis researches. I always tend to go to the main source of problem. And then in the West, in the United States, in France, and so on, the doctoral studies are carried the same way as master's degree. There are courses of doctorship. You follow courses. You belong to an institute where you study doctorship. That's why when you look at the CVs of Westerners, you find that they fulfill their master's degree just in 1 year, not in 2 years like in Tunisia.
Maybe because they have the means, they have the resources.
No, that's not
They have
true.
research units.
They fulfill the doctorship within 3 years, because they follow courses, and then they are asked to write papers. That's why many teachers cannot conduct and finish their thesis. Just want to go back to the intervention of Mr. Manai. I heard something like mid-1990s.
Do you think things have changed since the 90s?
At the time of those laws of the 1990s, and that was in the heyday of corruption. Tunisia has been or was corrupted at that time. It was the top of corruption and higher education was not accepted from that, Adnan.
Do you think it's paradise today?
Okay, it's not paradise, but there are some winds of change, Adnan, in all the sectors. And I want to say something, and I hope that Mr. Mana is still listening here, that every law in Tunisia has proved to be defeasible.
Mr. Mana is not defending the system, is not defending the government.
Just,
he has the experience, and we were just expecting his feedback.
Yes, he has informed us of many things, and maybe I have something else to say, okay?
So, go ahead.
Every law in Tunisia, in all sectors, in tourism, in medicine, in healthcare, in everything, has been proved to be defeasible, to be revised, okay? There are many laws which have been very hard to change, to revise, but they have been shown that they are easily revised, okay?
Yeah.
So please, it's a request at the same time as well as a right or as a duty. Please put us in the same basket of this change, of caring about Tunisian people. We are Tunisian people, we are citizens, okay? So we can find many regulations, many solutions that fit everybody. Okay?
You're talking about solutions, Rafeek.
Okay, solutions.
Yes, I will ask the question. I will come back to you, Rafeek. I will ask Hela and Ines about the solutions to the situation of university teaching assistants in Tunisia, and I think we will need hundreds of editions to solve this problem. Yes, please, Ines, go ahead.
The solution for me is, unlike what Mr. Manai said, that university shouldn't be regarded as an organization or a business. Well, probably my experience teaching in business school made my mind frame change a little bit towards this. But once we start considering this as business, because we have contracts in here, we have investment, the government invests a lot of money teaching students for free, which American students do not get. But why should you invest a lot of money in something that you would not get an output out of it? Why should you stop at the level of undergraduate studies?
Maybe because you don't have the means.
Okay, you do not have
I'm
the
not
means.
defending.
You do
I'm
not
just
have
asking
the means.
the questions.
You are wasting money in here. Now, when you think of the system, the new system is LMD. What is LMD? This is licence, and then master's degree, and then PhD. With just the L, the students, our students, Tunisian students, in the near future won't be able to compete with international students. They won't be able to be admitted to any American universities or to work internationally. So they have to carry on the masters. Without supervisors, you won't be able to carry the master's degree, and so on and so forth. Now, what I'm talking about, true that we are probably going to suffer from a lack of, like, a big number of students.
You have 30 seconds.
But the quality of studies is what matters. The solution is that we need to think of this in terms of business, so as to give the people the means, the tools in order for them to carry on, to carry on a PhD or a master's, to carry on their studies, to be able to give something to the country, which is online libraries, libraries which are buildings that you can really see. You can hold the books, you can smell the books.
I like the idea of hackers.
Publishers, and this all would create job opportunities. Publishers, conferences, all these things, we need them.
Hela, do you need the same things?
Oh, I don't know.
Or do you have
I
other
think
demands?
that we should be hopeful for the next generations, because for the
Next generations?
for those who are here,
Do you think it's too late for this generation?
Well, I mean, for me as a fifth contract, I'm not expecting anything. If I'm fighting for anything, it would be for the ones that will be first-time contractors next year or the year after. So I'm not thinking about myself, but I'm thinking that teachers need to be better selected, better coached, and then for the concours, like the concours d'assistanat, the rules need to be clear. Okay?
I think this is your final message. Rafeek,
Just
30 seconds.
30 seconds?
Yes, go ahead.
Too much, okay. Let's be honest, right to the point.
Yes.
Okay? If we fail to conduct our research, if we are bad researchers, okay, divest us of the perks and the funds of research, and keep us alone with the basic salary, okay? there is a basic salary and perk for research, okay?
Yes.
We are ready to be divested of this, okay? We are deprived of this, okay? But this commensurably with continual permanent work.
Okay.
Second, Adnen, why not making a swapping, okay? If we receive teachers from second education, why not making swapping and we go to teach at basic school, not basic schools, at secondary schools, okay? Because we no longer care about the status, we care about money, Adnen.
Rafeek, I hope the minister is listening and the government is listening. What about you, Zied?
Well, in my opinion,
30 seconds.
3 seconds. In my opinion, we should integrate the research assistants. They are part of the research, and they're part of the Ministry of the Ministry of Higher Education. They are highly educated, and they need to be supervised. The supervisor should help them instead of kicking them out of university.
You know, Hela has mentioned Sfax and other regions of Tunisia.
Yeah,
we are not talking about university teaching assistants just in Tunis.
Yeah,
we are talking about to all the people in Tunisia. Ines, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 1, 2, 3.
I would like to tell them that they're doing a great job within these conditions.
Okay, I thank you for listening to the international service of Radio Tunis. This is for our listeners, guys. I thank my guests Ines Ghalleb, Hela Masmoudi, Rafeek Fehem, Zied Brahmia, and Mr. Adel Manai for his valuable contribution. I also thank our maestro Qaiser Borzaliba for his technical assistance. Will be available tomorrow and the photos today if I get the billions that I'm looking for from my guests. I'll be here next Sunday at 2 o'clock. Next news update in French and the Italian language program with our friend Mohammed. I thank Qaiser Bouzriba again. Enjoy your week. Bye-bye.
Tunis International Radio.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's been a great opportunity, Adnen.
1 hour wasn't enough.
عندكم في ديكم 30 secondes نفرغوا لجماعة الأخبار.